Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more slug testing, and today we've got a very highly requested combination to try out. I've been working on getting some of these for a while now, since a ton of you guys have asked for them, and I definitely want to try them as well to see what they could do, and I've got some decent hopes for them as well. So we're going to put them to the test and see what they're capable of. But as for the rounds we're going to run today, I brought out some of these. The Brenneke Green Lightning Heavy Field Short Magnum shells. They are a 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 1 1/4 ounce slug, which Brenneke is saying is 525 grains, and I think that's pretty close to being accurate. And the back of the box says they're moving at 1476 from the muzzle, and it also does claim up here that we're supposed to be seeing a 1 1/8 inch group at 55 yards, so we're going to see how close that number is as well. So a lot of you guys have wanted to see the Brenneke 12 gauge slugs tested, and a ton of you guys have said, hey, run the Green Lightnings, because you've seen numerous good results from your testing as well. So we're going to see what these are actually capable of through my setup today. And here's what they look like for the people that are curious. They are green. I don't know if you'll be able to kind of tell on camera that those slugs do have a green coating on them. Definitely not the same coating that they use on the 20 gauge Green Lightnings that we've also tested, but they are definitely painted green, that's for sure. As for the setup we're going to run them through, I brought out my Remington 870. This is about as standard of an 870 as you can get. No special bore diameter or anything else. It's completely smooth bore, 24-inch barrel. We're going to be running a stock improved cylinder for a choke, which is what a lot of slugs, including Brenneke, recommend, is either cylinder or improved cylinder. And up on top is a Hawk Vantage IR 3 to 9x40 with the slug gun reticle in it. Nice scope for the money, that's for sure. Now for reference, yes, this is mounted to the receiver, and the barrel is not pinned or anything like that. Everything is being held by the magazine cap, which I have hand tightened and then added 3 additional clicks and scored witness marks to, just so we keep the same barrel tension in relation to the receiver. So far in our testing, it's been perfectly fine. So it's nothing that I'm concerned about at all. We should be good to go here, and we'll see if this 870 likes the Brenneke Green Lightnings or not. But as for today's test, I don't have a ton of these to work with, so we're going to run it the same as we usually do. We're going to shoot 2 groups, one at 50 yards and another at 100, all of which will be put through the chrono as well, so we can be getting our velocities. It's not a perfect test, but it will at least tell us if this is a decent combo at all. So let's get you guys a view of those targets. We'll start at 50, move to 100, and then bring everything back here to the bench and see how it all performed. I've got some decent hopes for this combo, but we'll see if they work well together with this 870. Okay, so we'll take a quick look through our chrono numbers before we look at our accuracy results here. The boss claim is 1476. I didn't expect to quite see that from our 24-inch barrel. There's a good chance the factory probably tested it through a 28 or sometimes even a 30 like in Remington's case. But we weren't too terribly far off, I don't believe. Right around 1400 is what it looked like. But for a high we had 1438. For a low we had 1389. That gave us an average of 1417. So what is that, 59 feet per second under their claim or so? Right about 50 feet per second, I would imagine, is a couple inches a barrel. So that makes sense. With an extreme spread of 49 and a standard deviation of 17. So they were pretty consistent with the velocity as well for a 12 gauge slug anyway. But at an average of 1417, here's your muzzle energy for a 1 1/4 ounce slug. That's 525 grains is what Brenneke says. That's clearly plenty good enough for your average deer hunt scenario all day long. If you wanted to use these for bear or something like that, you definitely could as well. So looking fine here considering our setup versus their box claim, but let's go check out our accuracy. Alright, so here we have our target, and right off the bat, it looks pretty decent overall. I think we started to open it up a little bit out towards 100 yards, but I still think it was probably pretty proportional to what we would expect after seeing our 50-yard group. I was hoping to put 3 of them in the same hole after our first 2 shots were touching here, but we slung one just up a little bit over here at 50 yards, but still, that's not too bad at all. That one little bit of a flyer I would have loved to have seen down here, but at 2.08 inches, that's still plenty usable enough out there at 50 yards. It's not the best we've seen, but it's certainly not the worst either. Now moving over to our 100-yard target, our first shot was this guy right here, and then we slung one up high right up here at the top. I didn't feel amazing about that trigger pull, so I decided we'll take a 4th shot, but that guy was our 3rd, and when I decided to take that 4th, it was this guy up here. So kind of didn't really make much of a difference. Now I don't know how well this is actually going to come across on paper, but it looks like at 100 yards, we have a little bit of yaw in the actual slugs. You can really see it with this guy, how the tail end of the slug might have favored a touch to the right, as well as this guy up here with our last shot. You can kind of see how the cardboard ripped downward here to the bottom. So maybe a little bit of instability coming into play out there towards 100, maybe starting to cross the transonic barrier somewhere after 50, because clearly it was not a problem over on the left there. That may have contributed to open our groups up just a little bit, but at 4.6 inches out there at 100, we are just a hair over pretty much breaking even between 50 and 100 yards. We had a hair over 2 at 50, and we moved to 4.5 or so out at 100, so that's not too far off. And if it was me just a little bit with this top one, it would obviously be just a little bit less going from this other one. I did measure it. It's right at about 4.4 going this direction here. So overall, I'd say that they're decent. They're going to do the job just fine. That's minute of deer out at 100 yards all day long. If this is what I had, I would absolutely hunt with them. Have we seen better from that shotgun with other slugs? Yes, we have. And I don't love the little bit of instability out towards 100 yards, but they are still flying straight enough and stable enough to hold a decent group. And if you were to hit an animal or something out there at 100, it would still get you the same penetration and stuff like that. It's not like the slug would be hitting straight sideways like a keyhole. So now I'm curious as to what these are going to do through a rifled choke, maybe a rifled barrel. We might be able to dial them in just a little bit more. Typically with my slugs, I like to see 3 inches or better at 100. I know that 870 is capable of that with other slugs, and these aren't far off, so maybe we can dial them in a little bit with a little bit more testing as well. But it's definitely not a horrible starting point. I mean, that 100-yard group is within your handprint, which is absolutely going to do the job. So not terrible overall. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about those results? Like I just mentioned, everything is kept within a handprint at 100 yards, so it's gonna do the job. This is obviously not the slug that gun is zeroed with, but if you did zero with it and put the crosshairs where they needed to be, it would absolutely get you a deer or a bear or anything of that nature. So it would work for sure. Is it the best we've seen? No, but we've also seen way worse, that's for sure. But it is pretty interesting to see that little bit of yaw in the bullet holes out towards 100 as well, that we did not see at 50. So we're just going to have to test them through a rifled choke, maybe a rifled barrel. Maybe we go to a touch tighter like a modified choke or something of that nature, and we'll see how it does. I think we might be able to fine tune them a little bit more, but with a little bit of instability out at 100, we might be a little bit limited out there. I don't know. We're just going to have to see what we get as we continue to test them. But leave all your thoughts down below. Is it about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these Brenneke Green Lightning 12 gauge loads? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a combo you would use if you're getting that kind of accuracy with them? Or would you still prefer to see it a little bit tighter of a spread out towards 100 yards? And maybe what other slugs do you want to see me run through that 870? Or what else do you want to see me do with these Green Lightnings? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it. But I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.